to the so that it will be ready for everyone to enjoy. As far as talking about the spring, thankfully the weather is turning for us. Just be aware that when you're out and about in the community, just a few reminders. The dogs, please have your dogs on leashes, and just a few things to be aware of. We've had some few incidences here lately with speeding and actually racing in our community. So just please be aware of that. And we don't want you to act as police. Please don't do that. But if you see something, please let us know. So if we can identify the issue and the people doing it, we will react as best we can. We're pleased to have welcomed new residents and look forward to connecting with all of you throughout the season during the many social events planned for the community. The annual Dave Rice Pickleball Tournament is fast approaching, so please be on the lookout for reminders in our weekly e-blast. And also, most people in the community, if you're new here, have participated in it, so you can ask anybody. They'll inform you about the tournament. It's a great day for everyone to socialize with each other. Great way to meet all of your neighbors, and it's a great time. It's typically one of our biggest turnouts as far as the neighborhood, and we have a great time. Several projects are currently underway with more set to begin, all aimed at enhancing the look and feel of our community. This evening, you will receive updates on these efforts as well as information on topics for which we welcome community input. Again, thank you all for attending and for your continued participation in making Oyster Harbor the wonderful place that it is. Next is Chad with the treasurer's report.
Okay, hope everyone got a copy that we put up here. Obviously, with our new management company, every single month they expedite. So at the end of that month, they actually try to get us the whole entire financial report inside the next 10 days. So we're constantly kept up to date. Immediately once that's received, we go ahead and document everything. The board approves it, and we send it straight to our communications committee, which they go out of their way to publish it ASAP the instant they get it. So again, anytime you have any questions, you can go straight to our website, go straight to the financial report, so you can see exactly what's up to date. We try to get it out as fast as we can each and every month. As you can notice at the very top, you can see our total operational cost right now is a little over $929,000. And again, you see where all the dues that are being paid. Obviously, the dues were due by January 31st. And so all you see, all the money is going straight into the operational account right then and there. In our reserve account, which is a combination of the cash, the money markets, and the CDs, we have a little bit over $1,323,000+. Total combined in our assets as of right now at the end of February, $2,253,018.60. Of which on the right-hand side of that paperwork, again, you see the ARC totals. And as we try to emphasize this each and every single meeting, ARC totals is actually the construction home builds that are taking place. It's the deposits that are being put down, minus any violations or fines during the construction period. Then that is 100% automatically refunded back to the builder or the owner who perhaps paid for that during the construction. So again, we do not count that as income. If you scroll on down through that page, you can see the year to date, obviously we are a little bit under $23,000, which is fantastic. Again, we're getting ready to get into the summer season. And of course, we're doing all the operation things really pick up then. The one thing down at the very bottom, you can see it carries over. We have 7 different liens. Now, these liens, again, were HOA members at that point that have not paid their dues. A lot of this extends back to 2024. They didn't pay in 2025, so obviously we're continuing these 7 active liens in 2026. You can also see, scroll down, we try to give as much information as we can. As of the end of February, February 28th, we had 93 property owners who had still not paid their dues yet. Now, as of this morning, we actually did a documentation, and currently over half of those have paid in the last 3 weeks. So currently, as of today's date, we have 47 property owners who have still not paid their dues. Like normal, in the past, we always had, late fees was always the $20. But the one thing we had the option with being an HOA, you could either A, do the $20 per month, or it could be 10% of the actual dues that are actually owed. So what we did, the board made this decision that back in February, if you had not paid your dues, obviously we sent out a very nice letter at that point, physical, and also an email just notifying you, hey, dues were actually due as of the cutoff date was January 31st. If you haven't paid, please pay now. During the month of March, it was just going to be a $20 fine if you haven't paid. But starting April 1st, it was going to be 10% of the dues. And again, we're just trying to increase, especially a lot of the builders, because a lot of the builders were not paying the dues at all, perhaps on multiple different lots that they owned. And so this is something we just expedited out, but that's going to start April 1st. The one thing at the same time, we really want to involve the finance committee. And so obviously Dana Janke is the chairman of this committee. We've been working with her directly. We've had multiple meetings informing her of our entire active financial budget, and then what we're going to do upcoming to involve her in making and the entire team as far as making our investments. In the past, we all know that so much money perhaps was just left in a checking account that makes 0.0% interest. So we really want to, at this point, transfer monies into active money markets that are paying, 3.5, 3.6% that you can take out within 24 hours if needed for an emergency. Also, the current CD rates that we're looking right now, a lot of them 18 to 24 months, 3.85, 3.8. And so we're actually looking at a lot of that, and the decisions are actually being made to include the finance committee as well as all the board members on making these decisions. And so obviously we really want to have the money sitting in the accounts, making some interest, not just sitting there collecting nothing. Like normal, if you have any questions across the board, please give me a call. We've had a couple of the neighbors have actually contacted me, new residents, first time in HOAs. They want to see exactly how the HOAs are ran, how the documentation, really what is the whole entire ARC account, or how are the totals done? And I've actually volunteered my time. I've gone straight to their homes, met with them, which was fantastic. And I went through more of an explanation, a little bit of the history of Oyster Harbor, how it all started back in 1999, going on 2000, what the process of things have been, and exactly explaining more of our whole entire financial records. And it's great because obviously at the end of it, they said, well, gosh, it finally makes a lot of sense to us. And I think that's a great way to actually meet new neighbors and actually share more of the information and be an open book. So again, if you have any questions across the board, please do not hesitate to give me a call. I'll be more than happy to come meet with you and answer any questions that you might have. Thank you very much.
Mhm. Thank you, Chad. Next are the committee reports. First one is the ABC POA. Me and Chad actually attended an ABC POA forum in early February. It was a half-day event up at Brunswick Community College. A lot of great information. One of the things that I know we spoke about over the last year, as far as a bill 444 that was in the General Assembly. Good news is that bill actually went nowhere. There was no action taken on it, so it actually died. What they did do is they brought back and they inserted it into a different bill that has absolutely nothing to do with HOAs, but they inserted it because they wanted a few things. So they inserted this into Bill 372. And it is a watered down version, just pieces of what used to be in Bill 444. So
What was it for?
444 was, so all the fines, so for example, when the builders fine, or when the ARC fines builders for not performing, the new bill would have taken all those fines and it would have gone directly to the state. The community would not be getting any of it. It would go directly to the state, another
Mhm.
revenue stream that they, for them,
For the-
for them.
Yes.
They also, part of that bill was there was a limit on the amount of fines, not only that the HOA could do, but it directly related to the ARC as well, that after a certain number, a very low number, you couldn't fine anybody anymore. So, I mean, it was almost to the point where it was advantageous, really, if your builder really wanted to do something. The low fine amount, they could do it without any repercussions, other than the association itself having to sue them, which would cost the association money on top of that. So, that bill is supposed to go up in front of the General Assembly in May, which is their short session. So there's no guarantee they're actually going to take any action in May either, because this is their short session of the year. So at this point, again, 444 is gone. 372 is a small little piece, which even if it does pass, it's very, very little effect, really. Also, one of the pieces of good news we got was that if you're not aware, the new water treatment facility that they were building, or they are building in Wilmington, is supposed to be online in September or October of this year. That facility supports our area.
Right.
That facility is supposed to take out 99.9 some odd percent of the forever chemicals, forever plastics, and all this other junk that, our water is so bad as far as the stuff that's in it. So that's supposed to be online in September or October. And after that, they said it would take probably 4 to 6 weeks for all the water to actually flow through the system before it's
Flushed out.
So good news there. Other than that, there is no reserve issues or money issues. Do you have anything you want to?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly, that's the big thing.
Okay.
Fill the pool.
We can
Yeah.
fill the pool, yeah. All right, next is the ARC.
Okay.
I'm Scott Reed. I'm chairman of the ARC. It's really slowed down a lot for us, the whole community. But the current, since the last board meeting, we've approved one new bill. That's it. Just one. And we've taken about 10 finals. So we're down to like 22 current houses being built right now. I don't suspect it's going to go up very quickly unless interest rates drop or whatever. I don't know what the problem is, but we have 173 open lots, and out of them 173, and that's approximate, because some of them you won't be able to build on. But anyway, 65 of them or so are owned by builders. Yeah. 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 So, and that's a rough estimate, but it's pretty close. So, and if, and something else we've implemented since our last board meeting, we're now, we're implementing a $3,000 road impact fee, non-refundable from each building. So every one of these new builds, we're going to have a $3,000 non-refundable fee. And it's going to go into account somewhere. That's up to the board to take care of that. But it's hopefully going to help pay for our roads down in the future. So out of that 173, not all of them you can probably build on because of the terrain. Some of them you just They just buy them just to have access to our amenities. But at that point, if you could do all 173,000, that's going to be like $500,000 will accumulate eventually. Now, say we may not have it all by the time we get ready to do the roads, but whatever we do get will certainly help. So, and now these 22 homes, once they're done, we should be about 63 to 64% built in our community. So, but other than that, we have no membership changes and no budget issues. Go ahead.
You mentioned that some are not buildable, meaning the lots.
Yes.
If you don't mind, what would that be?
It's a train. It's just, it may not be wider than this and it just drops straight.
So they can't build?
They couldn't build. Well, I'm not saying they couldn't. They could haul in 1,000 loads of dirt.
Put it on still.
Yeah. They maybe could do that. But still, when it drops down 30 foot or so, I don't know what they, wouldn't be very good as far as costly to try that. But
Scott, is there a list that we know what lots are non-buildable?
no, and that's only up to the owner. Some people don't want to spend that kind of money if it's, really bad as far as rain. I'm not saying you couldn't build them, but as far as cost effective, I don't know if it would be very cost effective or not. I'm not a builder, so I couldn't tell you. But that's a lot of lots owned by builders, that's for sure. But, any other questions or?
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Look, boats and docks.
Sorry, I look like a lobster. I was in the sun all day.
Charlie Collins, committee chair for the boats and docks. Before I get going into the report, everybody seemed to have a positive response to Scott's $3,000 non-refundable, so we're going to implement that on the boat ramp. Not too much to pass here today. The annual validations are still underway, unfortunately. They were due to the Boats and Docks Committee on March 1st of 2026. We sent out two notifications were sent out by the Communications Committee in January. They were mentioned twice in open board meetings in both October and January. The official email to begin was sent on February 2nd, and a reminder was sent out on March 5th. All non-compliant members were turned over to CAM and the board of directors on the 17th of March for adjudication. Letters were sent out to approximately 18 folks who had not been compliant, some of which have been restricted use of the boat ramp until they submit, and then folks who don't use the boat ramp and just use storage were sent notification they will be towed out by April 17th for noncompliance. The updated annual validation process that was implemented the last year has identified 17 additional storage spaces occupied by unauthorized users to date. In some cases, individuals retained access after losing eligibility, while in others, property sales were not reported. Most of these were ramp users as well. This has allowed us to correct discrepancies and improve compliance moving forward. As it stands today, we have 3 spots that remain on the asphalt storage. We have 6 spots that are now open in the fence storage, and 1 spot that's open in the Regal lot off of Healing Water. And we anticipate 2 more spots will open up in the fenced-in area, giving us approximately 12 vacant spots, all due to the updated annual validation process. Projects completed since last report, nothing to report, but we'll be working on power washing the boat ramp soon as the season picks up. A couple things back to the validations. The ones that have received notifications, the sticker is ready for pickup from Paul on Mondays and Thursdays. If they have not picked that up and applied it to the trailer, they'll fall under the same rules as if you did not do your annual validation. So if you park it over there with the old blue sticker, you will get a warning. And then the second is turned over to adjudication to the board. So please pick up your sticker. If you don't pick it up by Monday, April 1st, Paul will mail them to your address. Let's see. Activities planned to start within the next 6 months. I'll kick this off with my favorite part, dispelling rumors of Oyster Harbor. The boat ramp. I've talked about this a few times the last few meetings. We all know it's in very poor condition. It is not being shut down right now. We are still within the 12-month period of the last inspection. The next inspection is due later this summer. The engineer states that he could shut it down on next inspection, not he will, but be prepared for the possibility that it could be shut down. The temporary repair that was done in 2022 is failing. It's not lasting as very long, but that's, if anybody's built anything with treated wood lately, they know that the wood is not what it used to be. It's porous. The worms access the wood and it rots out pretty quickly. So it is not in great shape. That being said, working with the engineer, we had a meeting on the 17th of March with the engineer to discuss a path forward. He anticipates sending us an outline of things to come in the next 2 weeks. Just a quick overview of what that looks like. Should we get approval, we figure out the pricing and all that, because that's what this outline is going to entail, is, you know, start to finish on getting quotes, what the build out is going to look like, what the build itself would be. But once we hit go on that, it's 8 to 10 months for permit approval. And then once we get permit approval, then everything else has to get lined up. Best case scenario, if we said go today, board approves the funds, we're ready to go. Best case scenario is they start working on the boat ramp next fall of 2027. The boat ramp will have to be dredged out prior to construction. They'll do a quick dredge. They'll start construction. Once construction starts, it's a 3 to 4 month process. So in a perfect world, we could start on it in fall of 2027 and be ready for summer of 2028, up and running. Some of the problems that we ran into in the past, and when Bruce was running it, was there's not very many vendors that are willing to do boat ramps in this part of the Intercoastal Waterway. And that estimate process took place in 2021 and the attempt repairs for 2022. Since then, there's more vendors and they have some cheaper options than what was given in the past, only because there is more vendors willing to work. So hopefully the cost is down a bit from the last estimate. We'll see, but some of the costs on the first estimate 21 is they had to do a $300,000 coffer down and do a dry build. They no longer are doing that. They're doing precast concrete, which will save us a substantial amount of money if that's the process we get. We'll see. I just want to be fully transparent on what the discussions have been. And in addition to the engineer being down here for the boat ramp, he was down here to look at the kayak launch, but I will not steal Bill Puglisi's thunder on that. He can talk about the kayak launch, since we've transitioned that to his responsibility. Yeah. So that's as much as information I can give on the ramp as it stands. I don't have pricing yet. Again, that's all going to come with the outline, cost estimates once we get all that built out and permits pulled. But any questions on that?
When you go to get the, do you need to, aside from footing, which is the need, do you need to have the actual construction detail in terms of what you need as a material?
To get so right. So what we can do to help the board and the FPC is we can get a swag number from a contractor based on conversations from the engineer to the companies we're using to quote. We can get a swag to help plan, but to get, hard and fast, we'll have to have the engineer draw all the plans out. That's going to come at a cost too, that the board will have to approve the cost of the engineer drawings. But what we're planning to do is get a pretty, plus or minus 10% swag from vendors.
Thank you.
Cameron, set that, the swag
Mhm.
for the permit.
Yep.
Okay, that's the building permit swag.
No, swag numbers are just a rough estimate of the contract. We have to have the permits before we can actually do anything official. Everything up until the permits are pulled are unofficial. Yeah, we can, yeah, so exactly. So when the engineer's gonna come back with the outline in 2 weeks. Part of that outline is gonna be his cost for doing all the drawings and such. Once we get approval from the board of directors of the engineering costs, then we can officially start pulling permits. We'll not expend funds without board approval on that process.
Sure, no.
Yeah.
I heard you say that it can be inspected and shut down at any time.
So when we do the next inspection, if the engineer sees something that, because he carries a license, if he sees something that he doesn't feel like we should be using it, and it's happened in the past, where they've had to shut it down, and that's when we had to do the temp repairs, in the past. So yeah, he could shut it down on his next inspection. Next inspection's in August, September. Yeah.
We have funds in reserves to pay for, or what's the funding?
I don't know where the reserve status stands. Dana could answer that. Okay. Yeah, for Zoom folks, the question was asked, is there enough in the reserves to help out with this? Dana Janke will answer that when she comes up from Financial Planning Committee. Any other?
Yeah. Once you get the permit, is there a time frame that we've got to work with? Like a couple of years to get this done?
The permits from when they were pulled the last time just expired. So if they stay the same, we got a few years to play with.
We're going to get.
Yeah.
I got 2, 3.
Yeah, we got time to get the financing figured out and all that stuff. We're not going to have to re-pull those. As long as the financing doesn't take 5 to 7 years to figure out.
What's that?
Yeah. Or whatever process that FPC and the board comes up with. I'm just giving them the numbers. So don't look at boats and dots for the financing answers because I don't have them. Yeah.
Could not do current permit we have.
No, they had to pull new ones. Yep. Yeah.
Hey, thank you for taking your time.
Yeah. Any questions anybody has about this ramp thing? And as Bruce Baker can attest, it becomes a really big pain in the rear because of it is a long, drawn out process. We're working diligently to try to make sure the residents have a functioning ramp, but there's going to be some hurdles.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Communications.
All right, thanks, Troy, for wearing everybody down. I'm Bob O'Mara. I'm co-chairing with Jim Lunsford on communications now. So some of our current activities, we're reconciling the member and household records on the website and along with CAM, and that should address some of the issues we see with buys and sells too, I would think. We've been updating the website to limit excessive navigation and searching. The documents and forms section was not really designed for people to search through. If you notice, you can't search and you can't navigate it too well. It's been reorganized. Now it's organized by either board of directors or a committee. So it's reorganized under ownership. So if you want to find something, think about who owns it, it might be there. At the same time, you might notice some changes to the web pages where we're actually pulling the information to you. So the document, the CC&Rs and all that, there's a page where you can go. It's like a reading room. I forget what it's called. It's called something like that. Picture of a library on it and a bunch of links to all those documents that are in the folder so you don't have to look there anymore. We're looking to streamline workflow requests, less steps and approvals. Things that might be considered approvals, and we'll definitely make sure that they're approvals or acknowledgements or what they are. There's a difference. A lot of it right now is manual. And I think that probably leads to frustration. People don't know what to do, what step they're at or whatever. We've been doing email blasts and Facebook and Nextdoor support. Nextdoor. I never use it. As I said, reorganize the documents. The ARC submittal's been reworked. So all 9 forms are together. They all have fill in, and it's right there where the builders can get to it. And I guess no one's pulling them. One, all that, no one's pulling them. Compliance submittal to be reworked on there. The Community Information Center, that's what the website called. If you go there, you'll see it on the front page, Community Information Web Center. If you don't see what you're looking for, send us a note. We can post it up there. And a new resident welcome section also for the new residents. Once they're done with their meeting or before the meeting, they'll have a spot to make it easy to find all that information. Looking into the possibility of using ticketing for submittals. Okay, we have ticketing capability on the website, but we also have Free Scout. So there's some overlapping capability there. Figure out which one's best to work with. And the one thing we need to also look at is a digital repository for our records. I mean, this website is really just providing forms to fill out, if you will, and then like the CC&Rs and stuff. But once you fill out a form and submit it somewhere, where's that stored? That's been something, I don't know where anybody, I think in every committee member stores their stuff somewhere different. So we need to pull all that together so that the HOA itself has that record. I know someone asked for something, I don't know what it was, but they have to go get the as-built and submit the thing back with the as-built. That's a process issue that person wasn't aware of, and then they also need access to the as-built record for that land. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do to help out. That's what we're doing. Is there any questions? No?
Ms. Dana,
Okay.
financial planning.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk to you about a few things. Obviously, there was a question, and I don't know who it came from, but I want to answer that with respect to the reserves. First and foremost, and then I'll go through the report. With respect to the reserves, there's a very specific delineation of what gets afforded. It's going to give things that are necessary right now a little bit more of a weight with respect to the reserve study. For instance, if this particular building we think is going to last 10 more years, it's going to be given a weight that is built out over those 10 years. There's also a consideration that the reserve study does not take into consideration with respect to the ramp. The dock and the ramp, more specifically the ramp, does not have any insurability. To me, from a financial perspective, that is a bigger risk because it aside from somebody hitting it and we could sue them for the damages, if a hurricane takes it out, we don't have any insurance. If we're to say that this entire thing is blown away, what we're standing in, this will be insured to about probably 70%. So we have something that could be used to offset that. So the ramp is its own animal. And it does have, it's very unique to this particular HOA. There are very few that have this kind of ramp. So we have to make sure that we have enough reserves to take care of it. Do we have it? Yes. But it's a matter of this. You know, where are you taking from? Where are you giving it to? Just like you have in your own house. You know, where are you going to spend the money and where are you not? But we have the obligation to spend money where we need to in order to meet the obligations of our HOA. So, but it's ever changing. It can change day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year. So do we have the money? Yes, but we also need it for everything else as well. We want to make sure that the pickleball courts and the tennis courts and the pool all function the way they're supposed to as well. So it's a balancing act. So that's what the board is doing. It's a balancing act. So the answer to, do we have the money in the reserves is yes. But do we also have money for everything else as well? We've got it, and it's constant change. So did that answer the question? Excellent. Thank you. Okay, so here's what we've done. What we're going to do now, we're actually not going to call it so much the Financial Planning Committee. We're going to call it the Finance Committee. And here's why. Chad has been exceptional in talking to me about how we make sure that when a new treasurer comes in, that they don't have any learning curve to go through. And you might get somebody who moves from the board into different positions, and all of a sudden somebody's there who really doesn't have an acumen for numbers. So what we thought was a better idea, actually it was Chad's idea, was, all right, let's standardize what happens so that if somebody new comes in that's a treasurer that doesn't actually have the background of numbers, the finance committee is going to give them that crash course, whether it's the budgeting, whether it's educating the board on whoever that might be at that time, making sure that they understand how the reporting is done every month, making sure that it gets done every month. So that's something we're going to change. And we think that's going to make it a lot smoother for all of us and easy to communicate to all the members. We're changing the update of the mission and activities of this committee. Obviously, we're going to have to do that. Change the name of the committee. I already said that. Work directly with the treasurer to provide financial information to the board. It's very important for the board to get the bottom line to make decisions. That's what they need. They don't need to spend time. Well, what does this mean? What does that mean? So if we transition that and make it very smooth, it will not be a problem for them to make the decisions based on the finance. We're going to create a non-disclosure agreement. Right now, it's Bill Puglisi and I. Here's the thing that I think is very important. Each and every one of us and all the members that are watching and every single person here deserves privacy. Your financial situation belongs to no one except yourself. The board might make decisions on that, but I think it's very important for anybody reviewing any financial information to zip it. So I want you to make sure that you can trust that what we're doing is sacred to the board, even more sacred for the financial committee, and to the extent that it could be a legal issue if we were to say anything private. And I think that's important. I would want that. I'm a tax accountant. If I give anybody's information away, I could be held liable. And that's very, very important to me as a person, to every client I have, and to every member of our HOA. Members of the committee, besides Bill and I, Bill has agreed to sign a non-disclosure as well. If anyone wants to come on the committee, they would have to agree. that they would have to sign a non-disclosure and maintain all of your privacy. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you, guys.
Next up is grounds.
Okay, I got grounds. I am not Vince Brackens. I'll talk with the Jersey Active. Basically, you can have the report, you can see it online, I believe, but the irrigation system, it's something that's under constant repair. I mean, it's 20 years old, and they pretty much fix something on it, a valve or head or something, at least 3 times a week. So he's working on that. They have a committee looking at redoing the front entrance, trying to dress it up, make it nicer. They removed the grills and picnic tables from the water park that were pretty nasty. They're working on upgrading the uplighting around the clubhouse and some of the trees, which will look really nice. And right now we've ordered 800 bales of pine straw for the community to do the community. I will put this out to you. You'll see it in the e-blast also. The guy that's doing it has said if anybody wants pine straw, he will accommodate them. He's charging $6.50 a bale installed. That's a fairly good
It's a
price.
great deal.
That's a good price. So what I want to emphasize is the board is not involved in this. I'm going to give you his name. You call him and you set it up. Don't call me later and say, oh, he didn't show or he came in late. I don't know what he's going to do. He said to do it on the 23rd is when we're going to have it done for the clubhouse. Now, I don't know how many people he has, but that's 800 bales. I'm thinking it's going to take a while. I don't know. I don't throw down pine straw, but I'm thinking it seems like more than a day's work. But I'll put it out in an e-blast, and I'll also put it on Facebook. If anyone with his information, you can contact him. Tell him you live in Oyster Harbor and you understand that he's going to do bales for $6.50 installed. Give him a number, and I wouldn't pay him till he shows up, but that's me. And other than that, they have no issues. They've been working pretty hard, and it's starting to look pretty good. Any questions? I can't answer them, but
member orientation.
I throw her out.
We had our last events on February 17th. We sent invitations to 22 new members or households, and 8 households attended the event. And we met 14 of our new neighbors. They were really nice. I just want to say that we give out a lot of pertinent information at our meetings. It's on the website under new residents, and I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but it behooves everybody in the community. If you have questions and you're not sure where to go for something or what you can do, we try to consolidate that all in the new resident information. So it's not really just for new residents, it's pertinent to everybody. So before you undertake some project or what need to call, who do you call for voting or driver's license or urgent, that's all there. So next event's in June. Hope to see you there if you're new, and even if you're not. Thanks, Jason.
Ponds and fountains.
Oh,
Somebody new.
yeah. Bob Gray, reading report for Bill Justice. On 113, this pond had an electrical issue necessitating a new motor and power unit be installed. And when they did that, they put in LED lighting that was upgraded. I'm on that pond. It looks very nice. On 114, there were electrical issues on Osprey. The Osprey timer didn't work. And then they replaced it and still didn't work. So they had to put in a new power unit, and that has been taken care of. On 129, all the fountains and ponds were shut down because of the pending freezing weather. And once that passed, they were turned back. On 217, the wood duct fountain experienced some electrical issues. And after pulling the motor, it was determined that several components needed to be replaced, repaired. The motor was inspected and it would be okay following the other components being replaced. The parts are waiting delivery and the fountain will remain out of service until it can be fixed. I don't know exactly when that's going to be. On 3.8, all the timers on the fountains and lights were reset to daylight savings time. All the other fountains and pumps are operating. There's also an issue on Mallard. Someone has decided to chip a lot of golf balls into the pond. And that really is not acceptable. And I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to get them out or whatever. I'll talk to Bill when he comes back. But if anybody has seen anything, I know it wasn't you, Dan. Yeah, that's why I think you want to practice on. So if you see someone hitting golf balls in the pond, I'd appreciate you letting myself, Jim McGowan, or Phil Justice know, and we'll try to address it. Activities, projects completed since the last report. The bi-monthly maintenance for the ponds is ongoing. There's no future projects planned. There's no current operating or budget issues. And let's see, there are no additions or removals from the committee. Any questions?
The pond behind Bruce Shop, I don't know what the name is. I forget.
Why what?
Don't know.
Oh,
Very split off for training osprey, you know.
yes. So I'll go over and look at
It
it.
ran for like 6 weeks before I finally said, okay, it's running in the osprey now. We can go ahead and shut this off.
Yes.
No.
Well, there's two ponds. Ibis is the other pond that require, they don't get, the water leaks out, so a pump fills them up. There's a well. Right. And I mean, I have to put the one on Ibis quite frequently, and I always have to tell my wife, please remind me, make sure I shut it off. Shut those off, yeah.
Finally was reaching out to osprey. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing that up. I'll go take a look at that. Yes.
So, relatively new, so I don't know the answer to this question. Does the Ponds and Fountains Committee do anything in terms of Russell Lake? Like I noticed, like there's a lot of algae building up, and I didn't know if there was any group or any committee that like looked at that or.
Yeah, what they do. This here, just the last few days, they'll come out and treat that at certain times. That, yeah, which is safe for the animals, but they'll come out and do that. And as far as what they do, what the committee does, as far as they keep that weir, the gate cleared out so the water can leave Russell Hewitt and go out into the Shalote River, or so that's one thing they do there as well.
Just want to say, Alice, what you're seeing now is
Like that.
But they do see algae once in a while, but they do treat it, but this is what you're seeing now is, that's Mother Nature.
Welcome to North Carolina.
Well, I'm glad to see you enthusiastic.
Good job.
We just skip. All right, next is social.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nancy Casey. I'm here for the social committee.
So since our last board meeting, I think everybody is aware that we had a nice big Super Bowl party. And we do want to thank all those committee members and board and just homeowner residents that helped get the big screen TV. We heard that from what we heard from those that were here for that night, it was a great turnout and everybody was happy. So you can all pat yourself on the back for those that got that up and running. I guess I wasn't here last year, so I don't know what it sounded like, but everybody was pleased that they could actually hear the game. So and that's what I'm hearing. So we did have 49 members that did appear, attend for that Super Bowl party. And of course, we provided the sandwiches and everybody brought snacks and treats for everybody else. So that was a good turnout. We had trivia night on the 13th of March. We had the last Tano, not sure if I'm saying that one right, the food truck. The food truck, we know that there was some issues because we had 90 meals prepared by that food truck that night. That's why there was a lot of people that didn't get their meals till later in the evening because it was just the one food truck. And I can't remember, they had what, 2 people inside? And so they did 90 meals that night. So yeah, so it good turnout. I'm sure that the truck was happy the amount of money they made, but anyway, so the trivia was awesome. We had 73 people that participated in that trivia game. So that was since the last board meeting. So what do we have planned for the next 6 months? We have the charcuterie sampling and wine tasting that's coming up on April 10th at 6 o'clock. Members are to bring their own wine bottle that they want to share with everybody. We'll be providing all the other tables with the information and the food. Then we also have the annual golf tournament. It's on April 16th at Brunswick Plantation Golf Course. Tee time is at 9:30. Contact Dave Fielder to register. We also have our wiffle ball, right? Got to pronounce it. We got to talk about that one. That's Saturday, April 25th at 11 a.m. at Mallard Park. So I can't wait to see.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. What did I say? Oh, okay. Carla we'll blame Carla. I'll see if she's in the camera. Carla says here at 11 a.m. So 10 o'clock.
Hey, don't park in people's yards.
And don't park in people's yards. Okay.
Yes, since you
Okay, gotcha. All right. Make sure that went out. So there you go, Charlie. See, other than that though, we've got other events coming up, we'll talk about at the next board meeting, anything that's going to take place after that. Carla did have Judy Glover come in and audit our funds, our cash, our personal ones, and everything was spot on. So we didn't have any problems there. So that was good to know. We do have 3 new board members that have joined us: Becky Henson, Mary Lou Gall, and Sheila Kellogg. And that's all I have. Anybody got questions? Well, thank you.
Come on, Bill. It's your time to shine. Oh, man. Yeah, right, Bill. Come on, Bill.
I'm Bill Puglisi. I'm co-chair on structures with John Camford, and I got in. So we're in the Carolina, and we hired a contractor to do work. When they say they're going to show up, and when they show up are not the same thing. So Saturday, the pool is going to get resurfaced, and the water's going to start going in. That doesn't mean you can go in. Once the pool is filled, it has to cure. It needs a certain amount of scrubbing and cleaning and monitoring. So once the pool is filled, you're still out of it for, they say 28 days, but we can probably cheat a little bit. So that's happening this weekend. Paul and I had a conversation with the guy this morning, who by far is the worst. If we were up north, they would have kicked him to the coast. But he came out, his guys are finished doing the prep work. He goes, it's not good enough. Went back around, so you gotta do more here, more there, more here, more there. So it's gonna start filling up on Saturday. Went out to the pickleball crew and we installed the windscreens at the courts. We had the damaged poles at the bollards at the kiosk repaired at no cost to us. We're going, if you look where the kiosk is and those ballards, there's 3 different concrete chips, don't match. There's this product, resin stem. Spread it out, it's flexible, it's waterproof, hard as a rock. I think the board had already approved, could cost us $200. We'll get somebody on the structures committee to do it. And that's not me. Well, we're working on trying to get a crew to finish repairing the base molding at the water park gazebo, because it's all rotten. And it's more rotten than what you can see. So it's a bigger job than you might think. There's a couple products that were brought up. I think Mike being the liaison for the cracks on the pickleball courts as a temporary repair. It's in pretty rough shape. It's gotten, especially the past 2 years, because it hadn't gotten any attention in the past. So that's something we're going to touch on. And I, on the 17th, met with the engineer on the old kayak launch. And in the joint venture with Boats and Docks, the posts are not rotten, they're not full of worms. So the foundation is solid. And if we could do what we did at the water park, get a community team together and do all the repair work. Now, even though it's falling down, and the engineer said, make sure you don't walk in the middle, walk on the side so you don't fall through. The demo, it's a physical job, that's hard. The rebuild is easy. And we had a scientific measurement using Charlie's feet to get a rough size of what it is. So I just did a little rough pricing, including the dumpster, paying the crew. Of course, part of the deal is you got to feed us if we do the work. I don't want anybody going home. If you go home, you don't come back. And we'll use everything stainless. We're not going to skimp on anything. It should be under 12 grand. And in that number, I've got $2,000 for screws and fasteners. Here, there's $600 for food. That's wood. It's all pressure treated wood.
Bill, we heard the fact the engineer said closing it down was absolutely the right thing to do because of what he saw.
Yes, yeah, he put on his waders, he went out there and he's chipping away. And he goes, yeah.
Nobody should be walking on this.
That's why I said, don't, he said, don't walk in the middle.
So, Zoom is asking for 3 years of asking, now, when will full chair lift be based? For what? The full chair lift? We do the pricing of that name.
Yeah, I would.
Options, hydraulic, like. And I'll tell you the last.
I'm sorry. There's 2 options, hydraulic and electric. We looked at them. Actually, Scott looked up some of them. And the electric is more expensive, and we're not sure the problem. Will it last? Because it's not going to use that much because there's a battery there. So it might get used maybe 10 times a year, we don't know. But, so those are the two options. But we are looking at it right now, it should be something we get done.
And as a long-term project, aside from the big ticket item being the boat ramp, I reached out to the engineer who did this building. And he's no longer an architectural firm, but happens to be a Gallimore builder. And he had said he's going to send me the plans for the structure. And with that, we should be able to approach somebody and give us an idea, because just doing the Google stuff, the main room should be between 3,500 and 5,000 square feet. Assuming 50% participation, 235 people. This entire building is 5,000 square feet. So we're talking with Dana, if there's going to be a line item, it's either going to be that we need to get an idea to the board. It's either, are we going to start from scratch, or are we going to do an addition? No, you had 90 people at the food truck. And I think our total occupancy is 90 people.
Yes.
And that's this room and that.
We have to meet. If you find friends,
Yeah, it's that way I was the last one to get fed. So, that's what I got. Does anybody have any questions? Well, yes, Judy.
Hose in there or is fire department coming?
The garden hose.
Garden hose?
Yeah. The pool guy's gonna start filling it. We're going to contact the water company. They'll put a meter on the fire hydrant.
That's ours.
Yeah.
That's gonna take 28 days.
Well, we'll put two hoses, one from the clubhouse and one from the pool.
You're gonna drain your post.
Yeah, yes, stop.
Well, no,
I have that. I have that. It is going to be blue quartz aggregate white marble. Blue quartz aggregate white marble. I have no idea what that looks.
Salt trick.
Inquiry mine on it. No.
like. Okay.
Becky.
Yes, Joe. Yes.
There we go, now I can see. Two. On the fire, is it this year, next year?
It's just something that the board has in the information to make a determination.
And then it needs volunteers.
The ball's on their court,
Yeah.
and you will be there if it's gonna happen.
I will.
Every day. Every day.
That was my next question, when do I need to travel? So. I'm not.
Anybody else?
It's still incorporated this.
I was free the second meeting.
It's still regular water.
It's not salt water, we could go with salt water.
We haven't gotten that far down the road.
Don't you do that before you load the water? Yeah, you can change, you can change it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell them the drawing before.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. It's on, so there's a crossover point. So the upfront cost, which we don't really know exactly what it is, to put the system in to make it salt water. There's just like when you take Social Security at 62 or 66, there's a crossover point that we're going to recover the cost to put the equipment in at the reduced cost to maintain the pool going forward. And pool professionals, I asked 2 months ago, I never hold. And pool professionals is going to be approached, I believe, to do the scrubbing. Once the pool is filled in, because until it's all cured, it has to be washed because it's susceptible to. Part of why you can't go in is because you can rub it off, scrape it, put footprints, and algae and mold can grow in it. That's why they have to keep cleaning it.
So that
refinishing it?
No.
But it's more discussing the saltwater, alternative.
We wanted to just get an idea and reached out to one company just to see. It was $28,000. So then you gotta look at who's worth the juice, and like Bill said, about everything I've read is 40 to 50% savings over a salt.
Yeah.
Tell me what I don't know is what we pay each year, so it's the returns that take 50 years to $28,000. It won't take this year.
But we don't know whether there is a crossover, but we don't know.
The actual device itself, the actual pump that gets put in for salt water for this size. We actually found that on 3 different websites that you can buy, of course, and this is what they sell to pool manufacturers and so on. You're looking right around 15,000, going anywhere for 16,000. One was trying to sell it for right at 17,000. Now the other company was coming in, they would come in and install it. Their cost was right around 28,000. But then we're trying to go back to the warranty of that machine. Is the company that's going to install it? How long is their warranty? Or if you buy that equipment, does the manufacturer cover a period of warranty? So we're trying to make sure we know all the nickels and dimes before we pull the trigger. If this case, we are definitely going to do the fresh water right now, back to normal, get the pool back up and operational for the whole entire summer season. But this is what we're researching. If we make this decision, once we close the pool in October, for example, that is when we could switch over to saltwater. And so it's ready. At that point, we can put in a new machine. We don't have to close the pool down to do that. It's already closed. And then at that point, we can start doing the salt additions and get everything ready to go for the opening for spring next year. So we're doing that research right now. And I have a lot of the quotes right here in this folder. All right.
And the last thing I have
We do
is,
a town hall 2 weeks for that, something like that. Town hall,
Easily, yeah.
Yeah.
this is my time. And we're gonna paint the front door here. Somebody on the committee, somebody on the committee, again, not me. Any other questions? I did not.
So.
So we're gonna get to, in unfinished business, the first thing is pool update. We'll answer that.
Okay.
We'll do that. Mhm.
Charlie. Huh? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Let's see here.
Is Glenn here?
No. Next is post compliance, and Glenn is not here tonight, so I'm going to read this. It's a good thing I got my glasses. Current ongoing activities since the last open meeting. The committee received 10 applications, 6 for tree removal, 2 for exterior painting, and 2 for fence installation. On that, please, and I wanted to follow up with Judy real quick on, I was able to attend the new orientation welcome meeting the last time, and she's 100% right. Even if you've been here for a long time, that is an excellent meeting to go to. I mean, a lot of things over the years you just forget, but on that piece, I just wanted to follow up as far as they go over for new people that have just moved in or maybe not been in the HOA before. It's springtime, people are out doing stuff in their yards, they're cleaning up trees, all kind of different things, planning different activities with maybe putting in a shed, whatever that might be. If you're new to an HOA, please understand that we're not real strict, but there are certain rules for certain things. You can't just go out there and start cutting trees down. You can't just go out there and start putting up a building. You can't go out there and start putting new concrete down. without getting prior approval. I mean, there's certain things, with concrete, it's impervious. You've got to be within the rules of that. Taking down trees, we're a tree loving community. We don't want you going out there and clear cutting your lot. If you do, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So please, go on the website and look to see if you're new or you've forgotten or just not real sure. Go on the website, go to the ARC site, go to the compliance site. It'll tell you what you can and can't do. And if you've got questions, you can take those questions directly to whatever particular committee would come out and give you an answer to that. So just make sure you're doing that. We don't want people to do stuff and not realize that they can't do it without proper approval. Again, a lot of this stuff is it's just a reference. Most things do get approved, but we just want to make sure that, we do it the right way. So we're being consistent with everybody.
And that's one thing, touching base on that, like a shed, even though the shed's not part of the house, with a covered part, that would be the ARC, because you're going to the pervious impervious, because you're blocking the water from coming down and hitting. So whether it's poured on concrete or just a wood decking underneath flooring, because of the cover to it, that would be directly to the ARC.
I just also say, if you're fairly new and you people who've lived here a long time have been following the rules, and you'll go around and you'll see, and it's not, it's not fair to unevenly apply them, that people, so just keep that in mind. We're all not, as I say, going doing stuff willy-nilly, but their rules are there, and previous residents, people have followed rules, and we just want everybody else to, read the rules and just know what they are.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
So, sorry.
Yes.
So now.
You're good. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So even if it's post-construction, if it's something like a shed, it has to be, submitted to the ARC.
The reason you did, because it deals with impervious. So when you're putting concrete down or you've got anything that's got a roof over top. Correct. Yeah, and on the website, it'll list like what goes to where. Yes. All right. Next is nominating committee. Currently, the nominating committee is not in session. However, it will be soon. I think they'll probably be starting that June or July. So if you would like to be on the nominating committee, you got a few months to kind of think about it. Bonnie will be leading up and be the chairman for that. So just give a thought to that. It's very interesting to be involved in that. And our newest committee, which is not on the agenda tonight, but it's the technology committee.
Yep.
So, hello, everyone. I'm David Fielder. For those of y'all that don't know me, so I'm the chairperson on this committee. The reason, and I'll give you a little bit of background of why we kind of formed a technology committee. So as board members change from time to time, there's quite a few technology systems within the neighborhood that need to be maintained and updated. Technology changes on a regular basis. I've been in the technology industry for 30 plus years now, so I spend a lot of time understanding some of the systems that are here. Our goal is to ensure that the community's technology systems, like the security systems, the wireless, the internet, voice over IP systems that are here, are all reliable, secure, and kept up to date. So we want to make sure that we're doing that moving forward. There's been quite a few things that can happen over time. Things that happen with contracts where you might not need technologies moving forward. Things change within the environment. our goal in this committee is to make sure that we're monitoring that and making sure that those technologies are kept up to date. The other part is security. I currently work in cybersecurity for large financial institutions. I know you say we live in a neighborhood here, but there are things that can happen too, even in HOA communities around security and some of those things. We want to make sure that we're providing oversight and ongoing assessment of the existing technology systems as we move forward, identifying risk and improvement of opportunities and potential cost savings. Looking at things, a good example is, having things on like the Focus Broadband solution that we don't need or haven't needed for a while, and it's just passed over and over and over again. So we want to make sure that we're maintaining those. And a part of that is doing vendor management and getting relationships with all of our vendors and contracts, looking at those, understanding what it is that we're looking at, why we're paying this, do we need it anymore? We'll as well do research, assess, and recommend new and replacement technologies to the board. And give our recommendations on things that we should be doing or things that we might be able to change and let the board make decisions on doing that. So right now, we are now kind of putting together a lot of the technology committee, understanding what we need. The first step of that is a technology systems assessment. So I'm going through right now and looking at all of our systems, understanding what we're doing with them, how we're managing those, what we're doing from a contract standpoint. We want to catalog that, understand it, document it so that as new board members come on, they'll be able to understand how technology is working. We won't have to go through that. I actually had a conversation recently with a vendor who said, thank God you're doing this. I've had to go through every board and tell them why I come and do what I do every year. So this will help the board to be able to understand what new technologies or things that are changing in that, and that'll be consistent as a result of that. So I'm going through that right now. I'm also doing a vendor and contract review to understand what our contracts are, where we might be able to save some money in some of those things. Projects that start in the next 6 months. We want to complete that assessment, provide those findings to the board, and make sure that we document that and put it in a location where everybody can find it and use it. Establish the technology documentation framework. I want to build a framework of understanding how we document certain things within the neighborhood and be able to maintain those for board members, new committee members, things that change within the organization. And then evaluate any ongoing needs. As technology changes, and it changes fast, we need to understand how we can optimize and fix those things as we move forward, make sure that we're up to date and secure and doing all the things we need to do. So those are some of the things that we'll be working on. We will be adding some members to the team as we understand more of our responsibility and what we're looking to do. But looking to really kind of put some guardrails around how our technology works within the neighborhood. Any questions? Yeah.
Do you think that your particular tenant might be almost like a park historian?
Yeah, I could
that you could use to make sure, because I hear things like, whether it's Bill talking about, the plans for this building and having to track them down. If we had like a historian that could kind of make sure that we have multiple backups, technology-wise, all the information, it would help the board make their decisions much easier without having to go through and research.
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to see is a way that we can have some sort of archival data that we can be able to, any board can come in and be able to understand and access that data, whether it's across multiple committees, different information that's stored in one place, that we're able to, do those things and be able to provide that to whatever the board members are. So yeah, it's just, there's some ideas I have around some of that I know that we can do as part of that. All of that will be flushed out in the assessment that we do and understanding and the recommendations that I'll provide to the board from you.
That's quite a task you can do.
Yeah, well, I do a lot of work already. So, and my wife, who doesn't let me out of the house much, keeps me focused on that stuff. So Any other questions? No. Thanks, Dave. All right, thanks.
All right, moving on to unfinished business. The pool update. Bill pretty much explained a lot of it. Would like to say that the pool's original scheduled opening date was April the 2nd. That was planned 3 years ago when we originally signed the original contract. They always opened it up near Easter. And obviously that changes front of April to middle of April every year. So that was our intention. Last year, we did some minor repairs, and we were able to get it. We didn't have to wait 28 days for that. But since it's a total, complete replaster of the pool, we were informed, honestly, a week ago, that it was a 28-day process. And what that process is, Bill briefly explained it, is that for the first 4 days, they have to come out and twice a day for the first 4 days, they have to come in and brush the entire pool. And then after the first 4 days, for the next several weeks, they have to come one time a day and do the exact same thing. So the plaster cures, all the while they're treating it at the same time. As they sweep that pool, the plaster obviously emits chemicals into the water. So we did not plan for a 28-day delay. We started this project in October. With firm dates, we had given the contractor, we need this done by this particular date, only accounting for about a week and a half for the water to be cured. So 28 days. The good news, it'll be a brand new pool basically. And we shouldn't have any issues with having to close the pool during the middle of the season for holes popping up or anything like that. But so we do not have an actual firm date. The anticipation is obviously if they start on Saturday filling the pool and they get in here the first of the week, it's going to be the end of April.
First week of May.
But we will get it open as soon as they tell us that we are good to go. We will open that pool. We realize that a lot of residents use the pool, and so our plan is as soon as we get the go ahead, we will open the pool and send out an e-blast or whatever else we need to do immediately. But we will have that pool open as soon as possible. The next thing was the old kayak launch, and Bill talked about that as well. I know we spoke about it in the last open meeting, and the consensus was that people wanted it. The majority of the people that we heard from want us to rebuild that. So we tasked Bill with making sure, which is great news, that the bones of this thing are still good. So while they are still good, I think we need to fix that. So we will be looking at the proposal as far as the materials and get a firm number. As soon as we get a firm number, obviously we will, as a board, look at it and vote to. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So at our next meeting, we will absolutely discuss this and community watch update.
That'd be me. There was a handout, I don't know if people took it, on the neighborhood watch thing. I will tell you, I did this as a response to community outcry about security at night and people getting stuff stolen. And the unfortunate part is if you had security come in at night, it costs $150,000 to $200,000 for a year to have that security come in. And I will tell you, for $16 an hour, come 11:30, that guy's asleep somewhere. We got the plan. As a general rule, having lived here when we had a guard in the shack, he would be asleep by 11:30. You'd go by, he'd be in there, you could see him sleeping. And I basically understand that because if $16 an hour, you get what you pay for. The idea behind this concept is how most police departments work neighborhood watches. Few things, I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you, but I'll highlight some of the things. It's 2 people to a car. Phones, flashlights, no guns. I know everybody has guns. And they're dangerous, especially in someone like Dennis's hands. I mean, they would be very dangerous. So there's no guns, and I've had people, oh, you don't confront anybody. You take a picture, you call the cops. There's no heroes here. Anyone that has done this for a living knows you don't try to get into a fight because nobody wins. Someone's getting hurt, usually both people, one way or the other. You could end up on disability from your career. So that's why it's written. The other thing I want to emphasize is community has never been very responsive to a lot of volunteering. You need about 30 people, but I only need 8 hours per month from the people. And you do 2-hour shifts. They change in the summer and the winter. I think in the summer, the big thing you might have here is people using the pool unauthorized. Probably what you'd see. You might find someone going through the boats or something, who knows? But as a general rule, I look at it as, and I feel sorry for the people that have stuff taken from them and stolen, but the 7 or 8 incidents that we had, is it worth $200,000? If the community wants to have security, they should step up, and we can do this, and it could work. It's worked in many communities. I've overseen many neighborhood watch programs in my career. They do work, and the best part about it is the word gets out that these people have someone patrolling the neighborhood and they don't come. It's just a deterrent. That's how it works. I'm open for questions if anybody has any right now, but if you read it, I'd like to start taking to see how many people I have. Like I said, we don't do it every night either. You'd have to do it sporadic, just so the word is out that there's people doing patrol in this neighborhood. You know, you get a little security thing on there, and we'll give Dennis a siren, so he'll be happy.
Hand crank one.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that, like I said, I personally think if you did this, you'd be bored, especially in the winter. You would be bored to death.
Does it come with donuts?
You can go to any donut shop that's open and pick them up like I used to.
Go buy a good guy.
We switched to bagels, actually. Any questions? But I'd ask you to read it and look, and I'll start putting out things, see if we can get volunteers. If not, we don't do it. But then I don't want to hear people whining. I don't want to spend $200,000 for security either.
All right, next is Access, the working group. We've had a small group working on this for us for quite a while. Just wanted to kind of have this person give us an update, if you would, please, sir.
Go on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The week I moved in.
Which is almost a year ago today, or I think it's next week. There was a security meeting. The previous board scheduled a meeting just to discuss security issues. And it was a lively meeting. Some people were very concerned, you know, many other people were not concerned at all. We heard all kinds of different things. But the one thing we really heard was that the rampant piggybacking that occurs there is a threat to the community. And, you know, from one hand where we need perimeter security improvements and things we shouldn't do anything at all. Pretty much everyone understood that, those chains of vehicles coming in
are not a good thing.
We don't know who's coming into the community. So the board formed a special committee to study the front entrance gate and what could be done to address piggybacking. It's a very complex situation out there. We have a whole lot of constraints We looked at a lot of solutions. There was no clear solution. So I'm gonna present, I'll give a little bit of background, and then I'm gonna talk about the solution that we came up with a little bit, talk about how it operates and some of the implications and concerns. But if you let me get through all my information, then I'll be happy to answer any questions anyone may have. But I want to stay in my lane so that it doesn't take too long. So, anyways, so as I said, we formed a special committee, and one of the first things we did was put out a survey, and we got all kinds of crazy information. But the one thing that stood out once again was the concern to address piggybacking. In that meeting, I don't think I made a lot of friends my first week. You know, the way security is done with the gates, you're responsible for wait until the gate closes before you leave, and then nobody can pass through. But there was no will to do that, and the time it takes for the cycles would get ridiculous and could create safety issues at certain times of the day out onto the roadway, because we really don't have much queuing. So we looked at a number of different options. Many of them were extremely expensive. You know, our problem is we got construction vehicles coming through here all the time, and they're wrecking our gates, our old gates. The geometry is really constrained, and when they redid it, they did like a double squiggle on the entrance gate, and it's really hard for the large vehicles to navigate it. You know, even though we have 14.5-foot clear opening when the gate is open, and the maximum load they can legally carry is 14 feet, it's just difficult to maneuver big vehicles through there. So you can't have visitor lanes. In contrast, you can't have two separate lanes. We only have one lane. There's no way to really expand it without a ridiculous amount of expense. So ultimately, the solution that we came up with was to install gate arm systems, which you see at many of the communities. They're fast operating gate, and they have advantages and disadvantages. But what we decided to do was to go with a double gate arm on the inbound gate. That's the very quickest activating option available. And then we were going to do a single gate arm on the exit gate because it doesn't stack up there. And but you know, only one vehicle gets through each segment. You know, there is no piggybacking. I'll get into that a little bit more once we move into operation. Let's see. Each of these, so the metal gates, we're going to retain them, and we're just going to operate the gate arms during the day. We talked with multiple vendors, and they can interface with each other, so that's not a problem. And we can decide, the board can decide what hours we need to be operating off of which system and all of that. These gate arms will have two safety systems. There's an optical safety right at the box. It's just like the beam in your garage. And they wait for vehicles to clear for a certain amount of time before a vehicle get through. And then there also is what they call a magnetic loop detector in the pavement that detects metal, and that the vehicles also have to clear that. And they act very differently. With the, let's see. Also, you have the ability to adjust the timing on the time it takes for the cycles to clear. You can adjust the speed of the gate arms, and so there are a lot of different pieces to the system that you can tune to do really what you want it to do. You know, the problem is, you know, and when these gate arms come down, when they clear these safeties, that gate arm is coming down. It's not like the current gates that it's, you pull onto the loop again, it'll stop and open up. When these gate arms get the signal to close, they are coming down. So there are going to be vehicle strikes. Most of them piggybackers that we hope are going to pay for the damage they cause. But that's just something to realize. And, you know, most of the inadvertent strikes are going to be the result of driver error. You know, the contractors are probably more likely to make errors, but even community members are going to make errors out there. I mean, I almost ran into the outgoing gate one time. A water bottle rolled under my waist, brake pedal. But so, I mean, stuff happens, and there are vehicle impacts. The gate arms all have breakaways. The 3 vendors that we looked at, they all have breakaway systems on them, all different breakaway systems. The one we're looking at, they have bushings around the bolts where the gate arms hit the thing, and if you hit the gate arm, the arm pops off of the pedestal. You know, there are other ones that have breakaway arms with hinges, and other ones where they snap in little clips and you pop them back in. But the system we thought was the best price and the best value altogether has the bushings on. So there are going to be strikes, and that's an issue. And there could be malfunctions where we get an inadvertent vehicle strike, and then, you know, there's going to be damage. And I'm not sure how we'll deal with that, but hopefully we'll upgrade our camera system so that we'll be able to quickly identify and review the event and determine whether it was an operator error or a system error. But that's just inherent to gate arms. You know, we talked with other communities with gate arm systems, and they're like, yeah, they're strikes and they deal with them. But it could make a big difference. I mean, right now, the minimum cycle time is roughly 20 seconds, maybe even a little bit more. I think with the gate arms, which are going to be closer to the readers and everything, so that reduces the travel time and stuff. I think we could reasonably do cycles of 6 to 8 seconds. So we would be cutting the cycle time, you know, third. So you're not going to accumulate as many vehicles there. You know, of course, the concern is going to be, you know, particularly in the morning and also at lunchtime, when it stacks up a little bit, not nearly as bad as the morning crunch. But what we really want to avoid is vehicles hanging out into the roadway out there. That would create a real safety concern.
Just to get to the nuts and bolts.
Okay.
Let's keep looking at it.
We'll get there. Like I said, we'll get there. We're not too far. We're moving along pretty well. You know, it's the system now, it's what's called an actuated closure, versus we have just a timed closure with one safety on the gate going through right now. But again, we have adjustments, but we don't want to, you know, the thing is, if you make the time too long, cars will just hug each other and they'll figure out that they can get through. You know, maybe we're a second and a half, or I think you start getting 2 seconds, people are going to figure out that they can get through just by hugging you, which creates other problems and safety issues. So again, that whole issue about tuning it and balancing your crusade against piggybacking, against safety and vehicle strikes is tricky. But I think that I believe that it could work. And we really could address, to a large degree, the piggybacking. It's going to take education. It's going to take contractors talking to each other and getting hit and paying for repairs. And they'll figure it out. But it's also going to take the community talking to their family members, other people who are going to be using it who are not familiar, to educate them on how to properly use the gate system.
Or exit gate.
Because people will drive through the exit gate if they can't get through the enter.
You have huge square that's there.
No, you're just.
You know,
If somebody comes from. They do it now. It happens.
Question that other one for you.
Sure.
So I moved here in November.
Okay.
And I don't have the history and understanding around piggyback. So maybe the video file or the committee can explain why piggybacking is an issue if we're not having issues really with crime and security in the neighborhood.
We don't have a lot of issues, but we do have issues. Like,
And
people
it's,
might-
and we are able to contribute that to piggyback. So there's, we want to put more money into additional needs, but we don't know for sure.
So.
But we know that just real quick.
Go ahead. So the previous board asked a small group to look into this. This is not a done deal. We asked the community in several board meetings and sent surveys out to see what the reaction was to the community. What did you want to see? Did you want to do this? Did you not? The major feedback was they were concerned about, and since you're new here, you can come in there. Sometimes there's 8 or 9 cars that go through at the same time. We have no idea who they are. It happens a lot. It may not be 8 or 9, but it's a bunch. You'll see them if you just sit up here a little while. They'll sit in the center and wait for somebody to go through, and they'll back up and then they'll go through, or they'll go through the exit gates. I've seen that personally many times. So it was just an idea. The previous board decided that we wanted to see what it would cost, what our options were. And Johan is just presenting some of the information. We've not decided anything. We just wanted him to come and tell the community what he's found out, what his recommendation is, and then to see what the community thinks about it before we, as a board, make any type of decision.
I just thought.
Yeah.
Major interest in criminal activity, we needed.
Well, no, but as we grow, so I've been here for 9 years. I can't think of maybe one incident in the first 5, 6 years. And then we had a boat issues where boats are now being, gas is being siphoned out, product is being stolen. We've had actually product stolen out of builds in the community within the last year. So as anything is, the more people that come, unfortunately, it seems bad things follow sometimes.
Most times contractors here to work, but there are bad apples, and they're gonna say, "Oh, you can just follow someone in whenever."
And enter your community. So we want to get the word out, just like giving them the illusion that we're patrolling our streets. We don't want them to know that this is an easy place to access. So anyways, enough of that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying. Okay. All right, now let me just, okay, so I've talked about, I'm almost there. So anyways, we identified this system. I talked to a number of manufacturers and vendors about the system, and they were on board, and they said, oh yeah, we've done those. There are other ways to do it that are much more expensive and much more impactful and don't shave that kind of time off these operation cycles. So they just aren't really worth, to spend a bunch of money and then not really improve your cycles. We felt that this solution really would work without backing up and delaying people unnecessarily, to keep the community's delays to a minimum, yet still address the piggybacking. Once we kind of nailed it down, we had several meetings with vendors. And we obtained 3 quotes. They're not finalized and they're not valid anymore because I got them in September, October. The vendor we looked at is the current vendor that maintains our system. He knows our system, and he presented a comprehensive proposal. It was very nice and explanatory, and that's always a positive thing when you're evaluating something like this. And there also are not complete. We're going to want to get some extra gate arms because they get broken. So you want to have them on hand so you can pop a new one in and keep on going. And then there's some other construction issues, locating existing utilities. And as I mentioned before, all the vendors were pretty vehement that we need a new camera system to match the security system. So number one, you can monitor the vehicle strikes and know what happens and quickly and easily view that information so you know how to react to it. And also just for general security, it's a very good thing, something that with the quality where you can read license plates. And anyways, that was just something the vendors commented on, and that's not something we included in the pricing. The best price we got was $19,000, but by the time you add in the extras and stuff and finalize it, I don't know, prices have gone up. But we could probably expect that system for about $22,000. The other ones were not far off. They were both about the same, about $3,000 or $4,000 more. So we provided enough information where they really understood what we wanted and could price it well. So that's kind of where we are. We didn't make no selections or commitments or anything. And many of the people who participated on that committee are here today. And that's my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has.
So you said there's going to be failures. And there's going to be a hit, even if you're doing it right. Who takes the responsibility for fixing those cars?
Well, if it is driver error.
No, I'm sure you said there's going to be malfunctions.
No, that is not going to occur very often. I'm not saying this equipment is perfect. There will be unintended closures, and we talk very well. That's something that the board needs to address, and I noted that was an issue that we're going to have to deal with. But in most cases, and that's going to be very rare, but in most cases, it's going to be operator error. I talked with the vendor specifically about our use of boat trailers and trucks and vehicles and everything, and he said it's not going to be a problem. We have them on our community. We don't have those problems, Again, we need to be educated, and if you're driving your boat and trailer through, many of the components are just fiberglass and aluminum, which does not activate the sensor, but they're ferrous components in the vehicle and the trailer assembly and everything. But you're gonna have that time to clear the safety. So if you're taking your boat through this thing, you need to keep moving. Don't stop. Yeah, now the other ones are a little bit different, although they were not perfect either. But it should work fine for boats and trailers. But if somebody tries piggybacking and that safety clears, like I said, that thing's coming down and they're going to hit it if they don't piggyback well, or and then again, like I said, it's all about tuning. If you give enough time, people are going to learn that they can get through, and we won't have accomplished what we're trying to do. But
Excuse me, may I say something?
Sure.
It's a brick tide and you see that and walking down, it's the same thing. We're making we're just making it complicated. It's the same thing. I'm on this committee, it goes up we keep going, it's supposed to, trace, if I'm correct, trace to the last part of your vehicle goes through, and then it will go dead. All right, the only thing I suggested is take cameras of every license plate that goes through, but that's for section. For those who've seen Riptide, I mean, they're gonna have to come out here and adjust it, that's their job, that's what we're paying. So don't be worried about it coming together. The survey, the last, when we were together, was last July. Why we're waiting so long to have this come up now, things could have changed. I mean, the cost may have gone up, that was 22. You know, we had 3 guys, they were very professional, they would stay here, they will, you know, do everything, and like, because we don't have a monitor like this type to see the license plate, see, I usually have to do that with the camera on the front. So those may come through, we're gonna snap it, right there, and we're gonna charge them. There won't be any charge to us. That's how I understand, sorry, Tom.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I wasn't trying to make judgment on those issues myself.
Okay. So the whole intent of this was. We heard feedback, we heard an issue. We asked this group to do it. We asked them to kind of fill the community in to see what your appetite was for a roundabout price. If the community is still for it, I mean, we don't want to move forward with, you know, $25,000 without community's input and their thoughts on it. So this is just an informational, they did a tremendous amount of work and spent a lot of time on it. So we wanted to throw that out there. Let us know what you think. Send us an email, talk to us, and just kind of let us know your feeling on it before we act any further. We just, all
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's right.
The magnetic loop detector does not read aluminum. There is an optical sensor at the pedestal that it's just like a garage door opener. There's an object in the way. That's the second safety.
Yeah.
So if your car is aluminum, you can't get in?
No. It's the same as our gates now. We've got the optical sensor. As soon as you bypass it, it closes. Same thing.
Right.
There's components, even the aluminum.
But again, they have detector loop amplifiers where they can tune the sensitivity of the loops. There are all kinds of adjustments with the system.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Anybody else?
He said, how about our security guard for the gate? And Michael says, how are surveys being sent out for resident feedback on these subjects?
This was done early last year. A survey was sent. Yeah, May of last year, the survey was sent.
Right. And security guards, I did the research on that. I talked to 3 different companies, and we were looking at that point just during the daytime hours, with the ARC and the construction coming on. That's from 7 to 7 on Monday through Friday, 7 to 4 on Saturday, and no guard on Sunday at all. The cheapest cost we got was right around $69,000. Okay, the highest was right around $80,000. And that was just during the construction time periods. If you're looking for somebody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, then exactly what Mike said, you're looking close to about 200,000. Boom, there you go. Okay.
I wasn't intending
Anyway.
to talk about all the other related.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't know how long these meetings
Yep.
went. They all went
Okay.
2 hours.
All right, cool.
We can
Covered.
talk forever.
All right.
Good enough.
Thank you.
All right, new business, just really quick on this first one. Just some awareness out there around damage to community property. First I've heard of golf balls in the pond. I'm sure that's not good for our pumps. But that's a great example of some things that we're seeing out in the community. And it's not by our construction people, it's by our residents. So just for everyone's awareness, and I'm sure you already know this, but when we as a community tear our community up, we as a community pay for it. So swales, common areas, side-by-side racing down Oyster Harbor Parkway at 9:30,
7:30 that.
7:30 in the evening, side-by-side racing. They alerted us, and we're actively trying to identify who this might be. But let us know if you see something. I mean, because it's not fair for all of us to pay for something that one or two or three individuals are doing.
And if you
So-
see something, take a picture, video it, whatever. We got to have documentation that we can see and show that that's what it was.
Maybe we shouldn't have a box of golf balls sitting next to.
Well,
chipping
that's not.
that-
So just,
That is a good tip.
so just an awareness out there. Also too, just a reminder, we briefly spoke on it earlier, is when you're doing outside projects, tree removal, obviously that's post-compliance, storage buildings is the ARC. And just a reminder overall, we don't allow full-time parking in our yards or our swales, we want to maintain the look of the community. So just be aware of that. And next is member comments and questions, and just please limit this to 3 minutes if you would, please. And if you would like to, if you got a question or a comment, come on up. Whoa.
Keep it short.
He's more nimble.
What's your name? My name's Dennis.
Been sober now for 12 minutes. One question I had is, and I know this has been brought up before, was why can't individuals fish in their own backyards?
There was a survey done last year, 70% of people said, hey, not a problem. For some reason I got thrown out, but for like Bruce and Beth, if they have their grandkids over, they cannot even go in their backyard and fish.
So I'll say that the last board looked at this, and we looked at several different scenarios. One of the things we came up with is obviously we don't want confrontations out by residents. Another thing was, if we were to, and this was something that we thought of, this particular board has not talked about fishing, just where we left it last time was that we felt legally we needed to know what property we owned around these ponds, because there are some residents' properties that actually go into the pond. And we have a easement around it for maintenance, but.
Let me rephrase my question.
Why can't people fish out of their own backyards in the pond? Bruce Baker walks out his
I
back door,
understand.
walks down the edge of the pond and throws it in, he's in violation. Why? Why can't he fish from his own backyard?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That's something that-
we're a new board, and
I think it
we
should
will,
be addressed.
we will take
Yeah.
this up as a
Yeah,
new.
we'll definitely address it.
I'm just telling you, kind of,
Right, previous, but I know we got
Yeah.
some new people on where.
I can,
we like new people.
yeah, it's just been
Everybody.
those things where.
I got you. When I moved here, we did everything. So
Right.
I get you. Thank
Okay,
you.
No problem.
That's all, okay.
Let's hear it.
All right.
To say, I'm Judy,
Everybody-
along with Mike Schiavone and Karen Rice, we're
I know third time's a charm, because Brian said something and Nancy said something, but I just want you all to know, RSVP by April 4th. We've not heard from a lot of people, and we've always had a great response, and I would love to have my email flooded with, yes, please, RSVP by April.
Y'all gotta sign up so my people can win.
And remember, no running.
Yes, no running.
No.
Oh, we'll get to you.
I just want to give an update.
Let me get up here.
I just want to give an update on the golf tournament coming up on 16th. We have 32 players right now, which is 8 teams. We have room for 9. But so the teams are made up of 1 female and 3 males. If I can't get enough to fill a 9th team, that's the key, is if I can get another female and 3 males, we could do a 9th team. But right now we've got a full 8 teams. If anybody or somebody wants to register, please let me know so we can do that. I've sent out an email to all the people that I know are planning to come to it. We did send one out to the whole community, but if you're interested, send me an email. We'll try to get another team if we can, but just to let you know. We're looking forward to everybody that can come play. Yeah.
You said you sent something out to people that read.
There was an original email that went out to all the community. I didn't get any responses from that email that went out, but then I sent out to all the people that have played either in previous tournaments or that I knew was new.
Send it out.
No, I'm sending out emails now to all the people that have played before or play on the normal weekly ones. I'd like to get it onto, and Jim, if you can, we can put it onto the digital board. Just let me know what I need to send you for that. And we'll get it out there as well. But we've got room for another team, even more if more people register. I've got some possible options to do that. But right now we've got 8 full teams. If I don't get another full team or a couple full teams, we'll probably stay at that, just to let everybody know.
Is it on the digital?
Yeah. I just said I'm going to send Jim the information to get it on the digital board. So, yeah. Thanks.
Okay, my name's Bruce Baker. I live on Osprey Pond. I want to expound on what Dennis just said. One of the reasons I moved to this community was because we have community property all around all the ponds. The stormwater plan approved by the civil engineer stamped shows all the way around all the ponds. So that's not really a question. So I could walk out and fish all the way around the pond on the community property. 5 or 6 years ago, a few elitist property members decided that they wanted to control all the way down to the pond. They didn't care about the community property. The board, to placate these squeaky wheels, took away fishing. It'd been here for 20 years. All of a sudden it's gone. Nobody was asked about it, no surveys, nothing, gone. So 3 years go by, we have a community town hall. 95% of the people in that town hall were in favor of fishing around all the ponds. So what's the board do? They restrict it to 3 ponds, they restrict the amount of space that you can fish, and they restricted the hours. They set that up based on where people lived. You can only fish on those 3 ponds where there is nobody that lives. Well, they haven't even followed through on that. Now we have homes built on some of those properties. So one of those property owners could have somebody fishing behind their house. What are we gonna do? Right? So then we had the survey came out last summer sometime, right? What happened to that? I've heard 76% of the people were in favor of fishing around all the ponds, like we've done for the last 20 years. But that's gone. When is the board going to address the results of that survey and give us back the fishing around all these ponds? Because it's community property. People don't own down there. If I want to walk around those ponds, I can do it 24/7, right? Anytime of the day or night, I can walk around all the ponds. Tell me the difference between fishing and walking. The only difference I know is one of them has a fishing pole in their hand. They're going to walk around the pond down by the water when they fish. If I want to walk around the pond, I'm probably going to walk up closer to the top where it's flatter. Now I'm closer to the residents, but it's still community property. I can go walk on the pickleball court. I can go walk into the pool. It's community property. 76% of the people said just less than a year ago, less than 6 months ago, we went fishing. What's going on?
We just told you we were gonna revisit.
Revisit. Okay. Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
I want to fish.
And we heard
How many times?
that the kids, it's a great thing for the kids in the community, right? Get them out in nature, it's away from their phones and their computers. How many people adults said, fishing has been a great thing in my life? I love to fish. It's a very fun activity. But no, we want to take it away.
All right, so what happens if you do fish in the pond? What's gonna happen to you?
I'll tell you.
What's gonna happen?
I'll tell you.
Just please tell me, because I know you know.
My grandkids came home for Thanksgiving one year. Well, we went out in the back and they fished. One time, one day. I got a letter from the board.
No, you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Because it wasn't certified, there's no currency, so you can just chuck that shit.
All right.
Yeah. Good job. That's what happened.
He missed his JD, just so you know, he never got that.
One of our other neighbors called somebody and said, I saw Bruce Baker fishing on his lake.
No, they took a picture.
Well,
They sent it.
that's
And of course, we have.
Bruce, next time you go fishing, wear your Speedo, and I want to take a picture of it.
I will.
Thank you, Bruce.
Good job.
Good job.
Well, I'm Vicki McKinney. I'm actually here to tell you what we got online.
Yes.
But first, I just wanted to add to that because as I live on Healing Water right by the paved walkway, and I don't know if anybody knows that or not, but I feel like it's the only one in the whole community. So it is interesting if I go to walk somewhere else, I don't feel comfortable walking anywhere else. Like I would feel like I'm in your backyard. And so I didn't know why there's only that one sidewalk that's welcoming. Why we don't, I know we would have to pay to have other ones, but we could make some nice walking areas. I think we used to have them here. So anyway, online. So one just comment, like on the gate, somebody said they recommend surveying other communities to get their experience. Cam could probably help us with that. They know Winding River uses a gate system and it works very well. And they're a very large community.
Who made that comment?
This was Sheila Schmelzer.
Okay.
And she said she'd be happy to connect our board committee or members with their community. She said as a vendor that enters and exits gated communities. Bruce, when you were talking, someone said amen. Steve Eichel said amen. Now from Gary and Paula Blaylock, they are asking about the escalation process. If a committee or a board rejects an owner's proposal that they feel aligns with the standards, what can they do to escalate it?
So if
We're asking about,
If a committee or a board rejects an owner's proposal, so I guess
So if a committee like the ARC or post compliance, if that particular committee disapproves or denies their application, then all they have to do is send a written notice to the board of their appeal, and then we'll set up an appeal time for them.
Yeah.
and then
also just added some communities leave the gates open during designated daytime hours. And they had mentioned that earlier, that they thought last year we talked about leaving it open during business hours. Is that totally off the table?
That would be, I would tell you that they brought that up in the past, because when I was on the ARC, we recommended that because so much construction coming through. And that was pretty much shut down by the community. I live in a gated community. The gates have to be closed.
Right.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? All right.
Oh,
She's waving.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Yes, sir.
About the golf ball. You don't want golf balls in the pond, I'll put golf balls down.
I don't know who put them down there.
We don't know who put them.
If you supply the ball, people are gonna hit them in the water, the kids, idiots, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go down there with my boat either.
Right.
Right, yeah, we don't.
I hit enough of them at the golf in the
Right.
water.
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you very much.
The next meeting, of course, is scheduled for Thursday, May 21st.
I'm not gonna bore out the rest of the community.